the best of us. So I dance the night away when nobody's awake.
Good evening. Welcome back to Tyra's Just Saying, the place where we talk about life, leadership, and all things amazing. So, today on Tyra's Just Saying, I'm excited to welcome Sierra Morgan. Sierra is the founder of Rose HR, a consulting firm that helps small and mid sized businesses build strong people operations through HR strategies, compliance support, and virtual assistant sourcing. She's also the creator of Caregiver Compass Academy, where she provides education and guidance to help families navigate the caregiving journey with clarity and confidence. Through her consulting, podcasting, and speaking, Sierra is passionate about helping organizations and individuals thrive both at work and at home. And on top of all that, she currently holds the title of Miss Corporate America for the state of the state of Maryland. Sierra, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you on today. How's everything?
Everything is everything. Happy Sunday. Almost there Monday for a whole fresh new start. So here we go. We're gonna get everybody off right.
I know that's right. I know that's right. And happy International Women's Day. This
Yes.
is like so amazing that we're having this conversation today on International Women's Day. Let me tell y'all, when I looked and I said, oh my goodness, I got a corporate beauty queen on today. I said, we is blowing up, y'all. We is doing amazing things. So
That's
I said, I am so happy, and Sierra was like, should I wear my sash? I said, girl, you can do what you want. This show, we do whatever. We do whatever we want over here, and I am so excited about our conversation today. And
Yeah.
so, Sierra, let's start at the beginning. What inspired you to create Rose HR and focus on helping small and mid-sized businesses build stronger people operations?
Well, I've been doing HR now for 7 years, maybe a little bit over, and I always used to tell my friends I feel like the cleanup woman when I go into an organization because I don't know what it is about me, but I'm always finding something that's wrong, something that needs to be repaired, or something that could be done better. And
Okay.
so I always come in, I get that done, then I'm usually moving on to the next place and moving on here. And along my journey, I've had, make a lot of connections, and a lot of people are like, hey, do you mind coming in and assessing the organization or doing this? I'm like, that's no problem. I don't mind helping. And so it just, part of that just kind of inspired me because I love to help people in all facets of life. And then right now too, also the other part of my business with Rose HR is I help those small and medium sized businesses that are, especially the startups that are
Okay.
one person doing it all alone. I help them by finding them virtual assistants. So
Okay.
that's the core of my business as well right now. So that way that virtual assistants can deal with the day-to-day tasks, the admin tasks, while you can focus in on the strategy and true growth of the business.
Okay. And are the virtual assistants, are they in the country or are they outsourced out the country?
Great question. They are outside of the country. They're actually in the Philippines.
Okay. Okay.
Well, not Eastern Standard Time, but they work on U.S. time zones.
Okay. Okay, that's good. I like that idea. That's great. And how long has Rose HR been in business?
3 years.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Thank
That
you.
is awesome. And so I know you also have the caregiving connection. And so you founded the Caregiver Compass
Okay.
Academy, which is very, I mean, this is a great space to be in, right? Because so many people are now becoming caregivers. What personal or professional experience led you to create resources for family navigating caregiving?
So the idea came from, I've been a caregiver for 16 years, almost as long as I've been doing my full-time career. So, when I put a time frame on it, it's just so ironic to me when I say it out loud. But along my journey, when I first started, my grandmother had fell, we were living together. She fell and started to become immobile. And people were asking questions like, well, what decisions do you want made? And, she needed help to get up in the morning, all of these things. And I never
Mhm.
had anybody else around me that was actually a caregiver that I could ask questions to. And I just
Okay.
had to figure it out on my own.
Mhm.
Along my journey, I would say I've made mistakes.
Mhm.
I wish I could have go back in time and do certain things differently, but again, I had to go through trial and error.
Mhm.
And so for me, I just think that it's important to, along this journey, again, you become a caregiver just like that a lot of times overnight. So for me,
Mhm.
it's important to remind people to help them prepare for the
Mhm.
potential journey, and then if
Yes.
in it, how to navigate all of those things, like how to hire a home health aide, how to
Mhm.
find financial assistance, how to
Mhm.
apply to certain programs, what
Mhm.
to talk to the doctors about, like how to
Mhm.
prepare for hospital visits, all those things we try to
Mhm.
talk about. So that's why the word compass came into play, because with the compass, you want to know the direction that you need to go. And
Mhm.
as a caregiver, we're here to just kind of help you woosah, take a breath, and we're going to
Mhm.
help support you through either one-on-one coaching, a subscription. We get into legal advice, wills,
Okay.
all those different things, again, to help you
Mhm.
prepare for if you're in it. And then the goal is to, once a year be able to get together, whether it's virtually or in person, and just kind of have like a retreat, because I always
Okay.
can't pour from an empty cup. And so as
Mhm.
caregivers, it's so easy for us to burn out so
Right.
quickly without
Mhm.
even realizing it, because we're running on autopilot. So
Right.
just for us to have that time to get that respite care that we need.
Yeah, you know what? And that having that time to yourself is so important, especially as a caregiver, right? Because the thing is, you're pouring so much into someone else or some a whole lot of people, right?
Yes.
Not just the person that you're caregiving for who may be experiencing a health challenge, but you could also be a caregiver with everyone else in the house, whether it's, children, husband, and it's just like you're trying to take care of home, take care of the children, take care of work because you still got that 9 to 5. And you pull so many different ways, and it's like now trying to find balance in life, with
Yeah.
all of this, that's tough.
It is hard, and caregiving is very much a sacrifice,
Hmm.
financially, emotionally,
Hmm.
mentally, and
Hmm.
physically. And a lot of people just don't realize that, and they think like, oh, well, it's fine, it's not that big of a deal, until they
Hmm.
actually are doing it. Then they're like,
Right.
oh, wow. And that's what I've had people too that have gotten into that journey say to me, and I've helped them. I've helped a lot of people along the journey. So that's another reason why I
Hmm.
said, well, this inspires me to now just, I guess, put it on paper,
Hmm.
and put it in writing and have something, created formally for that. But it is definitely a sacrifice. And I think about too a lot of the sandwich generation, where they're taking care of
Hmm.
their children and they
Yes.
are taking care of their parents. And for
Hmm.
me, again, I'm a grandchild and a great grandchild that has made
Hmm.
these sacrifices to caregive, and
Right.
that's not something that you hear very often.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of people, they in their I guess in their day-to-day life,
Mhm.
they have their 5-year plans, right? I'm gonna take it to the 5-year plan, and some people don't know how to bend. They're
Nope.
not flexible to change, right? And it's just like a lot of people that can't handle change, they already experienced major difficulties in 2020 when we had the public pause and we had to change abruptly. And so it's like now coming out of all of that, going back to our, what we had what we have now as a new normal. It's like now you're asking me to change again. Are you serious?
Yeah. And
You know?
2020 came, a
Mhm,
lot of, I can only speak for the elderly,
mhm,
they were, drastically affected, because,
mhm.
as us, being able-bodied individuals, we could still move around, even though we had to like stay within those four walls. But as an
Yes.
elderly person, you start to become more immobile. And I know my
Mhm,
grandmother had a great decline,
mhm,
and my caregiving tasks, I guess,
mhm.
tripled, if you will, because cognitively she started to fail as a result of being in those four walls, not having any social interaction, which is something
Right.
again that we take
Mhm,
lightly,
mhm.
not having enough of, or having too much of, or whatever the
Right.
case is as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's a lot. How were you able to merge your two companies with Rose HR and the Caregiver Compass Academy? How did the two of those link?
That's a good question. So, I named Rose HR after my great grandmother. It's her maiden name, Rose.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started out with virtual assistants, I had actually started out with them as my own personal assistant to help deal with some of my grandmother's affairs and then
Mm-hmm.
my affairs and then helping me, in my 9 to 5s. And then it
Mm-hmm.
just kind of blossomed, from
Okay.
there. And
Mm-hmm.
so, sometimes a caregiver, they might need a virtual assistant, but Rose
Mm-hmm.
HR is the parent company to Caregiver Compass Academy. And that's just something, it just kind of flows or intertwines
Mm-hmm.
because again, it's all about workplace well-being.
Yes.
We talk about caregiving a lot at work,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and FMLA, which is job protected leave if you have to go out for a healthcare
Mm-hmm.
year or what have you. It doesn't apply to grandchildren. You have to
Mm-mm.
be able to navigate that. And again, most
Right.
of my career, I've been a caregiver and I've been blessed to find jobs where I've had managers that understand, and
Mm-hmm.
are flexible. So
Mm-hmm.
again, reminding people to have that empathy to people at
Mm-hmm.
work, because if you take care of your employees, then your employees will take care of you. But if you want to just go ahead and, do away with somebody because
Mm-hmm.
they missed a couple of extra days because they genuinely had an emergency, then we need to
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. So that's where I put my HR hat on, and I, become very empathetic as the HR director, like to
Mm-hmm.
my employees, because I get it, I understand it.
Yes. Yeah, you know what? That was a great point that you just made. And I actually took a note on that about grandchildren having that flexibility, because you're right. There is nothing in the laws that
Mhm.
say grandchildren, with being a caregiver for. And that's something that needs to be addressed, with all of our lawmakers, when it comes to FMLA,
Yeah.
and so,
And
yeah.
it's a lot of things that need to be addressed, and I'm just trying to knock them down one by one. And you know I
Hmm.
just trying to make my little voice as loud as I can make it, and
Hmm.
continue to tell my story out there in hopes that, one, that it'll affect someone else, but in
Hmm.
hopes that it gets into the right hands where actually I can actually be in more of a position to continue to advocate for those less
Right.
fortunate. And like my grandmother's support planner with the state tells me all the time, she says, I wish other people had an advocate like you, because there a lot of families that she works with don't have
Hmm.
anyone to help
Right.
them. And it's like a lot of the things that the state or the counties are asking for the people to actually get assistance
Hmm.
with technology and everything, the seniors, they're not able to do those things. So
Mm-mm. Half of them don't have computers.
exactly. So
Hmm.
how are they going to be able to do all those things? It's just like sometimes I feel like the system is kind of working against us, or
Yes.
against them, in that
Hmm.
effect. So, I'm blessed that I'm able to do it. When I become a senior, I have to put things in place for myself because I don't have any kids at this time. And so,
Neither do I, so I understand.
yeah, so, those are the things that when you're put in this role, you start
Hmm.
to think about, like, oh my gosh,
Hmm.
how, if something was to happen to me, how would I move? How would I get
Hmm.
around? Like, what does that look like? So
Hmm. It's like, and then when I look at the children today, I'm like, oh God, I'm
I know,
doomed.
I do think that sometimes. And I have now 3 nephews.
Mhm.
My third nephew was actually just born last week.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
thank you. And I was just like, please God, at least one of them got to be there to help me. I already asked one. I said, "Are you going to help TT if she needs you?" He said no and walked away. I said,
But you know
"Now,
what? I
granted,
appreciate
he's
your
great,
honesty.
but still."
But you know what? He said no now, but
I
he's gonna
know,
be the one.
I
He's gonna
know.
be, but you know what? He's gonna be your one. I
I,
bet you. He's
I
gonna
one
be
of them.
your one because
One
he
of them.
said no.
Yeah, I
He's
was
gonna
like,
be the one.
I said, I'm building a legacy for you all so you all can take over this business and keep it going. And he told me
Hmm.
no, and he ran. So I said, okay. So then I asked Dane, I asked the next one, and
Hmm.
he said yes, but
Hmm.
so I don't know. Once I meet the baby, I'm gonna say, all right, let's start you young. Come on. I said, I'm
It's like, come
hoping.
on,
Keep
help
my
me
fingers
out,
crossed.
please.
Yes, please help me.
Please
TT
help
need
me.
help.
Yes, yes. I tell you, out of the mouths of babes, that's for sure. That's
Yeah.
for sure. And so with the Caregiver Compass Academy, do you have cohorts, or what does the enrollment look like for caregivers who may want to be a part of the academy?
It's great. So you just basically you will go on to www.caregivercompassacademy,
Mhm.
and there are several different links. So you have one where you can schedule like a consultation or one-on-one
Mhm.
coaching with me, or
Mhm.
you can set up for the subscription.
Okay.
The subscription is a monthly fee, and you would basically get resources on a every week to 2 week basis of different tools and information that you may need along your journey, as
Mhm.
well as unlimited access for coaching.
Okay.
And then you could also just purchase the caregiving one-on-one presentation, and that
Mhm.
talks about just having legal advice. Again, no, I'm not a lawyer, but I did confirm with lawyers again,
Mhm.
showing people the mistakes that I made because I didn't know
Right.
about how to hire a home health aide.
Mhm.
And then, like I said, with the subscription too, you can also you'll be able to go to our yearly retreat, which would be next year too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We have
Awesome.
unlimited free resources too. So like
Mhm.
medication lists and things like that, just like little tools to help you stay organized because it
Mhm.
can be overwhelming or dealing with your own
Yes.
health, which as a
Mhm.
caregiver, we tend to forget
Mhm.
ourselves. Uh,
Right.
and and somebody used to tell me that, the love your loved one could still be sitting here and you burn out too much and you're no longer on this earth. What are they going
Right.
to you're
Right.
not going to be here. And
Right.
so again, just putting everything in writing and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff too. So just think
Yeah.
about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, balance is everything, you
Yes.
know. And so when we look at balance, your work at the intersection of business leadership and family care, which many people struggle to balance. From your perspective, what are organizations still getting wrong about supporting caregivers in the workplace?
uh I think that leaders lack empathy.
Hmm.
And I say this because, again, as an HR director, I've had to remind my leaders, they want people to be robots.
Hmm.
And I'm a person that has always gone above and beyond for my employees.
Hmm.
And, in all facets, even if it was a 24 hours, I would be there working the midnight shift, just like them. I'm
Hmm.
like, hey, I'm right here in the trenches with you.
Right.
And a lot of people have respected about me, but I feel like sometimes leaders, we forget that people are human.
Hmm.
We're not
Hmm.
robots. And employees
Right.
used to say to me all the time, I feel like a number instead of an
Hmm.
actual person. And,
Right.
leaders would, get on them for basically missing a day. And it's like, well, I
Hmm.
actually have a note. I actually was sick. And so
Hmm.
we have to remember that, not everybody is trying to get around or above the system. And
Right.
we need to start normalizing that. We still need to normalize people being able to take time off. I've had
Hmm.
a lot of long-term employees at different organizations I've been at that
Hmm.
don't want to take time off. I'm like, you have 4 weeks, and they take no
Hmm.
time off, like at all. Like they come out of
Hmm.
an outpatient and then they're back on the computer, and I'm like, that's not healthy.
Right.
So as a leader, encouraging your folks to, take that time out and take that away and letting them have that time away.
Right.
One of my friends told me last week that she would go out of the country and she would take her laptop with her and still working. I'm like, that's not PTO,
Hmm.
you know, but
Hmm.
that's what is being normalized, unfortunately, at the.
Right. And you're right, because as a business owner, when we work for ourselves full time, we find ourselves doing the same exact thing.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, if we don't have staff, right? If you're a solopreneur, you don't have staff. So you're doing everything on your own. And it's like, yeah, I'm on vacation, but it's just like you just said, Sierra, that is not vacation because you're still logging in, you're
Yep.
still, so what time do you really have for yourself?
Yeah.
To make things work, because I know I'm sitting here and I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, I'm guilty. Everything you said, I was guilty of all of it. Like I remember when I got my first job out of college, and this was many moons ago, and I worked my job every day, never called out sick, never did anything. And I was on my job for maybe about a year,
Wow.
almost a year. And my I was telling my mom and my neighbors, I don't know how we started talking. And they was like, you never called out sick. And it was like I don't know if it was a year or 2 years, and I never called out sick. And the two of them looked at me like I was nuts. And they was like, how much vacation, how much sick time you got? And so I told them, and they were like, you ain't going Monday. You know that, right? You're not going.
Yeah.
And I was just like, nope, you're not going. We going to Atlantic City and you're not going. And I just remember they was like, if you gonna take 3 and we gonna call the doctor and I'm gonna let the doctor know why you not going. And it was in the summertime. I'll never forget it. But they forced me to start using my sick time because I was just like, well, I was using my vacation time. No, don't use that. But again, it was, I should have, like I wasn't preserving myself. I wasn't taking my mental health days because I was
Right.
working in psych. I wasn't taking my mental health days and I wasn't taking the sick time. But then I started actually doing it. I said, okay, well, let me start doing what I need to do. Because my thing was, I don't want to take something if I'm not going to use it, if I'm not going to need it.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like something could happen,
Right.
and that's where my mind always went, and so yeah, I know I was guilty of that.
And like, I've heard employees, the ones that never take it as well, they'll say, well,
Hmm.
I'm not going anywhere. But it's like, you don't have to go anywhere. Just sit at home and just watch your favorite show.
Hmm.
Kind of have a day where like you're not in this, zone of thinking about
Hmm.
anything. And for me, I love to travel. That is
Yes.
my thing. And
Hmm.
I remember one of my friends, she said to me, she's like, well, I understand you need to get away, but why do you have to always go out of the country? Because I need a
Hmm.
full escape. Okay. I, I
Okay.
need to leave.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
And where I can't be, reach. The phone
Okay.
works on Wi-Fi. Like
Right.
that's what I need. Okay. My body is used to being out of the country. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. But
Okay.
no, but that's, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like I just wish that most people think about that. And then, as a solopreneur too, definitely
Hmm.
guilty because we feel like if we don't do it, who else is going to
We're
do
going.
it?
Hmm.
And we just keep grinding and grinding, which is again why they need a virtual assistant
I was
that
getting ready to say, yep.
time while they go on that vacation and
Hmm.
take some days off. Like get you a virtual assistant. They do everything.
Yes, yes, yes. So it is definitely important, and it's just being able to find it to make sure you got the right one that's tailored to what you have going on.
Right.
Because a lot of people be like, virtual assistants is expensive, and it's like it don't have to be expensive. You just
And
need
actually,
to
it's not.
have them for what you need done.
Well, I'll share this with you. So, virtual assistants, they can do a little bit of everything, day to day, social media, lead
Hmm.
generation, all of that. And
Hmm.
for me, my company, we pre-vet. So I actually
Okay.
find, 3 to 5 VAs for
Hmm.
the client to interview. And they make
Hmm.
their selection, and whoever they make their selection to work for them, the pay is $5 an hour for those individuals, and they get paid on a
Okay.
biweekly basis. So it's a fraction, obviously, of the cost of what we would pay a
Hmm.
person in person, and they're working
Hmm.
virtually, and they're taking care of
Hmm.
all of your needs. And so,
Hmm.
especially as a small business starting out, obviously you're trying to limit costs, which is why you're trying to do everything on your own, right?
Right.
So it helps to have a little bit more balance as well.
Okay. Okay. And are you still looking for clients for the virtual assistants?
Yes, I accept clients from everywhere. You don't have to just be in Maryland. uh,
Okay.
Clients anywhere, just contact me at www.rosehr.org,
Mhm.
and book a consultation, and we'll find out what the needs are. We try to get a person staffed between a week to 2 weeks, with
Okay.
just depending on their interview, time to interview the client.
Okay. Okay. That's awesome.
Because we understand the urgency.
Yes. 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 I mean, look, it's like we have stuff that be mounting up, and it's just like,
Yeah.
ooh, So I love this because it's like, when I look at, everything that you do, you have a lot on your plate. You're leading businesses, you're educating families, you're speaking, and you also holding the title of Miss Corporate America Maryland. What mindset or habits have helped you stay focused and resilient while managing so many responsibilities? Because you have a lot on your plate.
I know. And when you have a lot, you don't realize it's a lot until you
Mm-hmm.
start saying it out loud because you know you're just going through it. So you're like, yeah, because I'm just doing it, right? And
Yeah.
one of my old managers coined the phrase "a multifaceted professional" to me a long time ago, and
Okay.
I was like, then I was just a caregiver and an HR person. I was just like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, thanks, but
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I'm really living up to this. Like, but I will say that when it came down to when I competed this time last year, I actually had
Mm-hmm.
only a month and a half to prepare. I joined in late. I didn't know about it, and
Okay.
I'm a firm believer of when I want something, I'm going to give 110%, and
Yes.
I'm going to focus. And my marketing brain and business brain was just starting to work and trying to find
Mm-hmm.
sponsors and, people to believe in me. And my family was
Mm-hmm.
all behind me and the support. And, that's really important. Anything that you do is having a
Yes.
support system, whether it's your
Mm-hmm.
friends, your family, your spouse, whomever.
Mm-hmm.
We had to do a business pitch for the competition, and
Okay.
that last week leading up to the competition, I had all of my groups of family members at different times listening to me do it while I walked on just on Zoom, and I'm doing it, acting it out, and
Mm-hmm.
taking in that feedback so I can continue to be better. And that's one thing that has helped me along this journey in general. Is just I love constructive criticism because that's the
Mm-hmm.
only way I'm gonna know how to do better. Because I could walk away from something and say, "Oh yeah, I did a great job," but did I
Mm-hmm.
really? Did
Right.
I help the other person? Was there
Mm-hmm.
impact made? And for me, just in life, if somebody can just tell me, here and there, like how much of an impact I've made on
Right.
their life, that's what does it for
Mm-hmm.
me. I just had an
Right.
employee that to me via text a couple weeks ago and
Mm-hmm.
told me that it was important that I made them feel seen and heard.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's not something you get in companies because a lot of
Right.
people allow you to be that way. And so that
Mm-hmm.
really touched me. And again, it just gives me that motivation to continue what I'm doing. And with Miss Corporate America, it just helped to amplify my mission because now I feel like more conversations are coming up about caregiving and,
Mm-hmm.
just putting me in that right place at the right time, if you will.
Yeah. Do you think you'll participate any more any additional pageants after? Because I know this weekend coming is when you
Yeah.
crown the new Miss Corporate America Maryland 2026. So what does it look like for you moving forward?
Yeah, this year has gone by fast, although it's
Hmm.
been so many things because as soon as I got crowned, I was preparing for nationals. Uh,
Okay.
it's been going, going, going. And,
Hmm.
I'm still always going to be the first Miss Maryland Corporate America, even though we'll have our 2026, which,
I love it.
gotta throw that in there. So, but this group of ladies, I'm just so excited to see, who's going to win really, because they are all some amazing women. And I'm looking forward to partnering with that 2026, Miss
Hmm.
Corporate America, Maryland, and, having our voices continuing to be amplified and
Hmm.
partnering on different, initiatives and to just kind of keep it going, keep educating because a lot of people did not know in Maryland about Miss Corporate America, and it's important for them to know that because we are women. This is International Women's Month. We are bosses. We are doing the daggone thing. We birth kids.
Yes.
We do this. We do that. And more people need to know it. And while we're doing all of those things, we're still some
Hmm.
amazing corporate women. And that's something
Hmm.
that, I'm looking forward to having a partner in crime, if you will, to do
Hmm.
that. And that's what I told the girls in there when they were just in the interest meetings. I said, I'm
Yes.
looking for my 2026 partner in crime. So who's it going to be?
Okay. 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 And how many women are normally a part of the competition?
So this for Maryland, it's 11 women
Okay.
that are competing, and Florida actually just crowned their 2026
Okay.
Miss Corporate America yesterday on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to meeting that person, as well, and
Hmm.
just continuing with the organization. And again, just networking really is what it's all about. So Maryland is up next, and we just keep on going, and the nationals will be in June.
Yeah, I'm loving hearing about this because, like, I'm in Pennsylvania. I had no idea. Look, I had no idea.
I
And
know a
so,
lot. people did not, because it's been around for 17 years, but it's always been ran on the national level in
Oh,
Florida. And so
mm-hmm.
people from Maryland and, all different states would fly into Florida to compete. But
Mm-hmm.
2025 was the first time that they did a state level pageant. Uh,
Okay.
and now, they'll just continue that. And as they are continuing it, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
continue in different states.
Okay.
Well, and competing. So
Okay.
that you can bring Pennsylvania in.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, no, no.
Ah!
Everybody, it's for anyone and everyone. And it's a great group of ladies. And like I enjoyed meeting the other queens from the different states when I went to national,
Okay.
keeping in touch with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it's really some boss ladies, and it does give you sometimes a little bit of imposter syndrome, you know,
Yes.
honest. But at the same time, I'm here for a reason. Like I
Yeah.
have a lot to bring to the table too. So,
Yes, you
and
do.
everybody can learn from me, and I can learn from them on something. So here we
Yes,
are.
that's awesome. I'm gonna look. We're gonna talk after this because I'm definitely gonna find out. I'm like, because it's I'm intrigued by all of it, and I love it. Because I feel as though like with this is I see where you're helping people. I see where like we as corporate women need to be celebrated. And
Yeah.
I love that this is happening, and I just wish that we knew about this when it first got started 17 years ago. It's
Right.
like, but you know what? We find out things when we need to find out about them, and I'm just so happy and so proud of you,
Thank
for taking that when the person put out the ask for you, that you responded and you was able to do what you need to do. And I'm glad you was able to win.
Thank you.
That means a lot, because it gives people that look like us, inspiration to know that we can achieve these type of titles, and get our messages out there to the masses so that they can
Right.
understand what else is happening out there, and I love your platform was on caregiving,
Yep. On caregiving
because
advocacy.
no, it's like when we look at all of the trending topics out there, caregiving is one that's not addressed as much,
Mm-mm.
and it's like now we see, and I know people probably like, I hate you, Tyra, but you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna say it. Everybody's opening these home health agencies,
Yes.
but they are not home health quality people. I'm gonna put it out there.
No, but you're
Okay.
saying a fact. Yeah.
They hire whoever, and it's like so funny. I don't know if you ever remember the show called, it was a show on TV called Murphy Brown, right?
Yeah, I
That
remember.
was on TV years ago. And remember, she could never keep a secretary.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The secretaries role, the people that hire these home health people to come in, the home health aides,
Mm-hmm.
their aides leave just as much as those secretaries did on that Murphy Brown.
Yep. That is true. And it is so hard to find good help. I mean, good
Hmm.
help, excuse me. I was just having this
Hmm.
conversation yesterday with one of my friends because she's trying to find someone for her mom. And,
Hmm.
until she's able to transition her mom into assisted living. And
Hmm.
it's just so hard.
It is.
And with minimum wage and then like the
Hmm.
Medicaid programs, like what my grandmother,
Hmm.
and they don't pay a lot. And it's like, well,
Mm-mm.
how can you have to work more than one thing just to keep it
Hmm.
going? And it's just so hard. I mean, yeah, and nobody really wants to work, unfortunately, which is like, what? Like you want to just sit here and not do anything? No, I need you to actually help my grandmother. Okay.
Right. They don't want to do that. Girl,
No,
please, will you stop lying to them thinking
I
they
don't.
not coming to do that. They coming to chill. They want to
Yeah,
sit on the phone. They want to eat. They want to do
yeah,
everything.
they just want to
You
sit there.
know,
Ask them to do something, they're gonna look at you like you had
like,
two. And I'm like,
and I
I'm
think the worst thing I keep hearing, the worst scenario I keep hearing, because it's always home health aid nightmares, is the ones that come that don't have a home. And
yeah,
they come bringing suitcases looking for a place to stay. And I'm like, what are we doing about this? Because this
yeah,
can't happen.
yeah. No, I've heard
We
a little bit about that too, and yeah, it's hard. I mean, I'm like, oh, you need to go find a living opportunity, like for that, like
right.
not, yeah, or people taking advantage, of
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
seniors. And it's like, even though you may have caregiver, home health aide, excuse me, with your loved one as a
Mm-hmm.
caregiver or a power of attorney or whomever that loved one is to you. You still need to be involved because you still, if they feel, not saying everyone is bad, but if they
Mm-hmm.
feel like, just like in a nursing home, that you're not coming to visit, you're not paying attention,
Right.
then they don't care what happens to your loved one.
Right.
You have to be present in
Yes.
some shape or form.
Yes, exactly. And I definitely, love that now, that the conversation is out there, at least in the state of Maryland. We're gonna keep this going. We're gonna keep this going
Yes.
nationally, because at the end of the day, caregivers, caregiving is not easy, and when people ask for help, they're not asking for help because they're lazy. They're asking for help because they really need it. They
Yeah.
really need the help, and everybody needs to be able to have me time, somewhere in their schedule because things do get hard. And I'm, happy to hear that you like to travel, Um, are you planning on traveling this summer or this
Yeah.
year? I know
You
things
know,
are a little difficult right now.
yeah, that kind of messed me up. I was about to book my birthday trip. Or
When's your birthday?
it's in December, but I was trying to book
Okay.
in advance because my plan was to do Maldives, Thailand, and Curacao.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and so yeah, but I do travel next month. I'm taking my aunt on vacation. She helps me out again with her sister, and my grandmother. So I try to do
Okay.
vacation with her every year,
Oh,
and
nice.
I try to do vacations throughout the year with my friends. And then when my birthday comes, I like to do solo trips because again, I just kind of need to be away.
Okay. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with
But
that.
I'm always on the go, and I know my grandmother understands, and I'll just show pictures when I come back home,
Mm-hmm.
and we keep it
Yep.
moving.
I know that's right. I know that's right. You know what? I just say this: United States have some very beautiful places to visit. For
Yeah,
those who, is other stuff out there around these parts.
right.
For those who don't want to, venture out on a plane or something like that. And then we
Oh
are
yeah,
connected to Toronto. We connected to Canada, so
yeah.
and
That's
that's
true.
always an option as well. And I don't know if you've been to Canada. Beautiful country. I've been to Toronto, very beautiful city, that has a lot of rich history and a lot to offer. So,
That is
you
Toronto
know,
is on my bucket list. I went to Vancouver and
hmm
Niagara Falls, but I
okay, yeah,
have not done Toronto yet. So that was on
yeah,
my bucket.
Niagara Falls was on my bucket list. I went there too.
Yeah, I might have to make Toronto, like you said, it might have to move up to this year because yeah, I just saw a posting before we got on that said too that um, airline prices are going to be increasing, just like gas prices are now increasing. Right?
hmm
It's just, but yet pay rates not going up. So it's
Mm-mm.
like
The
how
pay.
we're managed, and it's just a lot.
hmm It is. It really is. It really is. And it's like so many things we all love to do, and I'm just like, so what mode of transportation do I try? And it's so funny. I went to Toronto. I'm gonna give all of y'all a funny story, right? I had to speak in Toronto a few years ago, and this is back in 2018, before everything, right?
Oh yeah.
And or yeah, 2018 or 2017. So, um, very funny story. I was trying to get a flight out of Philly to go. The
Mhm.
flights were so high at the time that I was refusing. I'm like, and I had a speaking engagement in Toronto. And so I was like, I'm not flying. I'm gonna have to figure this out. So I was coming from DC one night on a megabus. And so the megabus that we got on, the driver, it was a driver sitting in the back seat, sleep. And so then he woke up, hey, how y'all doing? And so I was like, hey, how you doing? And so he said, I'm just getting my rest in because we on our way to Toronto. You on your way where? He said Toronto. It's three drivers. We're gonna pick up the other driver when we get to Philly. But it's the three of us is taking it into Canada. Megabus go to yeah, we go there. It's only $40. Look it up. So
I didn't even know
looked
they
it
were.
up. Wait a minute, looked it up. He wasn't lying. I said, okay, well, I'm going to Toronto and I'm going on a megabus.
Wow.
So
Huh.
when I did have to go, I did take the megabus from Philly to Toronto. $40 round trip.
Wow. That's
I,
great.
I took my mom with me. My mom was like, I can't believe this. I'm going just because I can't believe we paying $40.
Like it's just the principle behind it. I
It
just
was
want
just the
to
principle behind it. We went to Toronto for 4 days, and I used my hotel points.
Uh-huh.
Got the hotel for, I think my hotel was $50 for the 4 days because I used all my points, right?
Oh,
Paid taxes on the room, and $40. I did everything under $400.
wow.
And it was just like, and we had a good time, and it was just like, okay, ran up there, did what I had to do. And it was so funny. May Jesse Jackson rest in peace. I was up there. I'm nationally certified as an anger management specialist, right? And the reason I brought his name up was because I was hosting a workshop for attorneys for the National Black Law Association, is where I was speaking. Jesse Jackson was there as well. So he had just got finished his speaking in the room that he was in. So my room, because my room was focused on anger, I was only anticipating 20 people to be in my room. Well, my room had about 70.
Oh, wow.
Everybody was in the hallway. It was people in the hall standing, right? Because it was no more chairs. Because the room they gave me accommodated like 50, but when they gave me the rundown, it only had 20. They all wanted to hear what I had to say about anger and the law. So lo and behold, Jesse Jackson's walking outside the room, and he was just like, I need to come in here and see what's going on, because all y'all out in this hall and y'all done went in other people's rooms, grabbed chairs, and y'all sitting trying to hear and listening what's going on. I need to see what's going on, and I need to meet this person.
Oh, that is
And
awesome.
so he came in the room, and he was just like, what we talking about? I said, anger. He said, well, I'm gonna go on and get out of here. And I said, no. Everybody in the room, because everybody rose, when he came in the room, they like, yo, no, you can have a seat. You can
Right.
take our seat, because we want you to be a part of this. Listen. But I was so honored, and he was just like, no, just get our card, because we gonna have to. And I just was like, oh my God.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, it was that was amazing. There was an awesome experience. So that trip to Toronto was like, well, it was a great trip,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
and
Yeah.
they have carnival up there as well.
Yeah, I heard that was one reason I wanted to
Yep.
go.
It's the first week of August.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
First week of August, and I can give you the information on where it is. Like, because where we stayed at, everything was walking distance. Like carnival was like right on this one strip, and it was just like, oh, okay. Everything right there.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So saying that to say, traveling is therapy. Traveling is good, especially for caregiving and all of the things that you do. You do so many amazing things. So you definitely need to be able to woosah and have those moments.
Yes.
You
And we talk about that too. So, and then like I'm also a host of The Bottom Line Is
Tell us about your podcast.
Yes, so it's relatable conversations. I always tell people, think about when like friends. Sometimes we don't always talk every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you do,
Yes.
you catch up on just everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always define it as that when you do catch up on everything, you're talking about your relationship, your dating, your marriage, your health, your kids, your education, your career, things of that nature. And that's essentially what we talk about. So each week is dedicated to a different one of those type of topics. So we've talked about grief. We've talked about financial wellness. We've talked about dating apps and all these different things. And I've had married couples on there, and it's just it's something that we all think about, and sometimes that we might not want to say out loud.
Right.
And so I just think of it. It's like my own reality show. But I always walk away, and I hope that the viewers do it as well. Walk away just after hearing somebody's story, just like, wow, like I learned something. It was divine that we came together to do this. And again, it's a way to help people, because you might not have thought about like, because most people, for instance, grief. People think about grief only when you're losing a loved one, but they don't associate it with. We had to deal with grief coming out of COVID. We had to deal with grief when we lose a pop-up, or all of these different times something causes us to shift in life. There is a grieving
Mm-hmm.
part that is associated with it. And so that's something that we talked about. I talk
Mm-hmm.
about caregiving on there as
Mm-hmm.
well. So it's just so many things. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it's just great. And I'm getting ready to start season 3. Uh,
Awesome.
Day. Normally, my episodes premiere every Friday at 7 p.m. on Facebook,
Okay.
YouTube, and Spotify. But
Okay.
with the pageant coming up, I really wanted to open up the season 3 by interviewing some of the ladies that are competing for the 2026 crown.
Oh, I
Um,
love that.
Yes, and I said, well, Friday night they're going to be really preparing because it's
Mm-hmm.
the pageant is March 14th, Saturday at the Bowie Performing Arts Center, and so I was like, well, let's have conversation a little bit before, and since it's the
Yeah.
season premiere, we got some wiggle room, and we're
Okay.
just talking about pageantry as a whole, but the theme
Mm-hmm.
for the month of March is who are you when no one is looking.
Oh, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that top. Look, I love that topic.
So we're gonna kick it off by talking about pageants and personalities and things like that that are associated with it. So yeah, stay tuned. You can follow me on IG at CECTHEDIVA. So CC the Diva,
There you go.
and as my link tree with all of the lovely links of everything that I am doing, as well as the links to the podcast.
This is awesome. I love this. So before we go, what is one piece of advice you would like to give someone who is watching us today and listening, whether it's for business, caregiving?
I would say never take no. And I know that's a cliche statement, but don't accept no as a last resort. People tell me no all the time, but my personality, I'm just going to keep pushing because you may tell me no, but I'm surely going to find a workaround and get it done because if I want something, I am going to get it no matter
Mm-hmm.
what.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Never take no, but some no's is a yes with someone else.
That is correct. You're right. And so,
Mm-hmm.
because, I think when I tell people about the podcast, even though they know I have the gift of gab, so they're like, oh, yeah, you probably could do that. But when I came up to caregiving, people are like, no, like when I'm trying to apply for certain things for my grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess
Mm-hmm.
what? There's another plan. I'm gonna figure it out. It might be no to you, but I'm gonna,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna
Right.
figure out a plan B here and a plan C if necessary.
That's right. I know that's
That's
right. Thank
trying
that
to
is an awesome message. Yeah, for every no, there's a yes somewhere.
yes.
So this is awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today, everybody. This is Sierra Morgan, Rose HR. Let me tell y'all, definitely reach out to her. Especially I got your information, so I'm a definitely be promoting you and promoting everything that you're doing and letting them all know about the virtual assistants. Because there's so many business owners out here that I know that are looking for help. And so we definitely want to get that information out there so that people can. And for those who need the caregiver coach, here she is, everybody.
Yep. And I'm
Here
also
she
on
is.
IG at the caregiver coach as well.
Yep, I got your IGs. Everything is going across the screen.
Yep, let me
Yep.
know you. So yeah, as like I said, it's that's life and life throws us curveballs. So we just have to
Yes.
be prepared to just keep trying to knock them out.
Yep. That's all we got to do. We got to knock them out and make sure that we are okay.
Yes.
Make sure that we okay. So before we go, I want to leave all of you with this International Women's Day message. To every woman watching and listening, you are not too late, you are not too much, and you are not alone. Women around the world are breaking barriers, healing families, leading businesses, raising communities, and rewriting the stories that once tried to limit us. So today, celebrate yourself, celebrate another woman, and never shrink your power to make others comfortable. Because when women stand in their truth, the world changes. I am Dr. Tyra, and this has been Tyra's Just Saying. And today I'm just saying the future is female, fearless, and unstoppable. I want everyone to have an amazing, amazing week. God bless you, all of you, and see y'all all next week. All right. Hold on the line, Sierra.